Hi, I'm Lowell Martin and this is MCC Today. Don't touch that dial. You're going to learn so much. We're going to do a 3-bean salad with 1 kind of bean and 3 magic markers. On today's show, we have Flora, Sumrall, Tonya, Ocampo, and Josh Taylor. They're all very nervous, and I'm going to make it worse.
Not essential. Never let anyone tell you that again. Never doubt your abilities to make a difference. How do I know this about you? Because I'm a teacher. I am the one who will push you harder and farther than you could have ever imagined. Teach you things that you never thought possible. And if you will give me 100%, then I will stand shoulder to shoulder with you, and together we will change your future. MCC, find your wings.
And we are here today with the wonderful Miss Flora Sumrall and Miss Tonya Ocampo. How are y'all doing?
We're good.
I have railroaded y'all into being on the show today. And even though it's a railroad, but you've known about it for a while.
True.
It's just when I sent out the reminder last week, you're like, really?
Is it time?
Time for school.
Now, Flora, your official title is what?
Program coordinator. Business Office Management Technology Program Coordinator.
Okay. And your official title is?
Medical Office Management Technology.
Okay, but y'all work together a lot, right?
All the time.
Your programs are kind of not in, I mean, it's not the same program, but you're under the same umbrella.
Right, and a lot of my students start out with her courses and then they break off into my program.
Okay. Now, you know, I have said this 48 million times on this show, and it is true that I work with some amazing people. Always, you know, I say this, I think Meridian Community College, in my heart, I believe this is the best community college in the world. You are not going to convince me otherwise, but I work with some absolutely wonderful people, and y'all are 2 of them. And I'm going to start with you, Miss Flora, because you came back to MCC a little later than most.
I'm trying to say I'm old, but
No, I would have said it more directly. No.
I did. I actually worked in a factory, Burlington
Okay.
Industries in Stonewall, for about 14 years. And at the time I was working, the last few years I was actually taking night classes up here. And I'd get off work, I'd come up and take a class. Had your class.
Yes.
But
Comp 1, wasn't it?
Comp 1.
Yes.
At the time I was sick and I was coming to you, and it was great. But then Burlington closed, and they offered us the option to for 2 years to get a degree, and so I just started coming full time.
Okay, so 14 years in Burlington, and then did you ever think that you would end up as a teacher? At that time when you left Burlington, did you ever think that this would?
No,
Okay.
I thought I'd be at Greer's working.
Okay.
That's why I went, you know, because I never thought I'd teach.
What drew you to this particular program?
My sister, who's a nurse, wanted me to take. She wanted me to be a nurse.
Okay.
Wasn't gonna work for me. So I thought I'd take the medical side. I like the business side. I love a notebook, I love the pens, and that's what was on my mind at the time because teaching was so far out of range. So I came back into, instead of doing the business office, I actually did the medical office side to satisfy me and my sister. So I did the medical side, but there wasn't any coding in it at that time.
Now, so you have now been teaching here at MCC for how long?
You would ask me
I
that.
am going to ask that. We go
Since
into all of it.
2007, so that gives me what, 13?
13 years, like I said. And I literally do remember you in my class, that because I was teaching nights at that time, and we had a really good class that semester. It was a really good class. And I do remember it, and because I think it was right when Burlington had said they were closing? I
There were
believe it was
rumors. There were rumors
Okay,
at
so
that
you
time.
were still working your full-time job. And
Right.
Now, and you were working your regular 8-hour days,
Right,
coming and then driving over here,
right,
and then having to write those darn papers that I gave.
right.
And you ended up with an A in the class, if I'm not mistaken.
I did.
Did you not?
I did. It was a great class. Loved it.
And so since then, I think I have also taught your daughter,
You have.
your niece, Okay, is there anyone else in your family?
Probably my sister. You might have had one of like my younger sister.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay. Now, Miss Ocampo.
Yes.
Okay, you thought you were going to get off, and you're not. You have been here for how long?
I've been here since fall of 2012.
Okay. And what drew you to this particular program? Because at the time you said it did not have the coding aspects of it. It was business office. What was the program called when you got into it?
When I came, they were transitioning 2 different programs into one. So they had medical office technology and billing and coding technology.
Okay.
And those 2 were ending that December, and they combined to become healthcare data technology. So there's the normal business classes, there's medical terminology, and then there's coding and insurance and like electronic health records.
When you came into the program or started the program, did you ever envision that you would be teaching it and be running it?
Well, I came through
Or you
health
already-
information technology, and I graduated in 2007
From here? Okay.
And when I went on to work at Internal Medicine Clinic, and
My niece is in that program now, Health Information
Okay,
Technology. I'm
yeah.
not going to tell her name, Devin.
it's a good program.
She's doing really well, too. Okay.
And so while I was working internal medicine, and then I moved to Rush, and pretty much right after, just a few months after, one of my former instructors called about an opening in the healthcare data technology program because one of the instructors was leaving.
Okay.
And so that's how I ended up here.
Is it weird being on the other side?
Yes, yes. Never in 100 million years did I ever expect to be teaching.
I remember when I started years and years ago, I was like, they're letting me teach?
Right.
What?
Yeah,
They're
here I
letting-
am.
I kept expecting security at my office at any time saying, look, you need to
Yeah,
get
we
off.
found
You
out
need to
about
get
you.
away from here.
There's been a mistake.
There's been a big mistake. Now, this particular program, how many new students do you have each fall? Is it only the fall that you allow new students in?
No, we allow students in any semester.
Okay, so fall or
summer.
spring. So how many do you allow in the fall, and how many in the spring? Is it 12? Is it around 12, 15, 20,
Well, our class,
87?
our class capacity due to like computers and technology is 20.
Okay,
So each class can hold 20 students.
So you have
we
up
might
to
have
20.
different sections, but one class.
okay. So you can accept 20 in the fall and another 20 in the spring, or 20 in the fall, and if there are leftover spaces available, that number in the spring.
If we take 20, that fills up that class. They roll over, we open up another class.
Yeah, we can open
Okay.
sections.
You know, different
Okay.
sections of the same class.
Okay. Now, what kind of prerequisites do students have to get into your programs?
I believe the ACT score is a 15,
Okay. So a
And-
composite score? Okay.
and there are some AccuPlacer scores,
Yeah.
but there was a change in those scoring, so I don't know those offhand.
Okay.
Didn't bring that, did I?
But pretty much, you can come in. There's no classes that you have to have taken before, as long as you have a 15 on your
Your
ACT.
scores.
Okay. So now, what kind of students do you say are appropriate, or what kind of students are you looking for, or should be looking, when they're looking for programs, looking for this particular program?
For me, the reason I chose the program I chose is pretty much the same why somebody would choose this program. I chose it because I wanted to be in the medical field. We live in Meridian, and
Okay.
we're surrounded by plenty of medical facilities, hospitals. So I didn't want to be like her. I don't want to be a nurse. I don't want to be, patient
didn't want to
contact. But so you're on the other side, the non-clinical side, to still help people and make sure that everything is correct and that people aren't getting billed properly and
Okay.
customer
Well, we got to take a
service.
break to pay some bills, but we will be right back and we'll continue this conversation, okay?
Okay.
We'll be right back.
Since 1996, the MCC Foundation Tuition Guarantee Program has provided students an opportunity to find their potential. Thousands of students have benefited from the program. Over $6 million have been invested in the students who learn and live right here in our community. This program is funded by individuals and businesses who believe in our students, our families, and the economic impact of an education at Meridian Community College. Now is your chance to offer support. Give today at meridiancc.edu/give.
And we are back. We paid lots of bills. And we are back with Miss Tonya and Miss Flora, and we are talking about your program. And you've got the business office management. No,
Yes.
am I right with
You're
that?
right.
Business office management, and you've got the medical office management program. Okay, and if a student is coming here and they decide, well, I want to go to MCC, but I don't know what I want to do, okay? How do you entice them to say, well, hey, come to us?
Oh. For me,
Okay.
and this was the pull for me. If students are willing, and oftentimes I'll hear, oh, well, that's a secretary program. That's not so. I came through the program. I started out as a receptionist, but it's so much more you can do with it. I have students who've come through, they've left and they've gone become teachers, they've moved into office managers, assistant managers, different kinds of clerks, and I'm not just, it's so many different things they can do with it. But what we're looking at here, I look on here, looking at people who actually work in an office, a business office, and they used to, at one time there was a program at night that we actually taught the people who actually were doing the work. Mm-hmm. And so for the businesses out there who have people they've hired and it requires on-the-job training or they're doing whatever they do in the office, oftentimes just because we're doing something doesn't mean we're doing it right.
Okay.
And so I look at that because I see some people who would come in and they've typed up a letter and I was thinking, did you mail this? Mm-hmm. And so those things, I look at students who wondering why they're not getting a job, and then you look at their resume and it's like, did you type this? So all those things, there's so much, a lot of students who come actually say, I'm taking the classes now, I'm gonna work for a little while, and then I'm gonna start my own business. Mm-hmm. So if you're gonna start your own business, what better thing to do than have the accounting and the math, and you have all of these things in. So even if you're not gonna do it in your business, you wanna know that the person that's doing it is doing it right. You want to be able to look at their letters and look at their paperwork and look at all these different things and know that it's right, like the spreadsheets and all of that. So we go into teaching that as well.
Well, and I think a lot of our students, and it does not have to do, it has nothing to do with intelligence. It has to do with experience.
Right.
They simply don't know. Mm-hmm. They don't know this is what you're supposed to do.
Right.
They don't know. And I remember having to talk to students about, and I know this sounds petty and basic, but how to fold papers and put them in envelopes.
That's true.
I mean, I'm sorry, but I remember someone going, I don't know how to do that. I've never done that. And I was like, okay. So, it's just, they just don't have that experience, Now, would you consider this an essential job?
I would, definitely.
These are people who are necessary and needed, so,
We're support.
Right.
You might not see support out in front, but when you go into that big business office, any office, the person out front with the suit on and the tie, awesome. But do you think that person is doing all the work? It's support that's doing the work. It's support that knows where everything is. It's support that knows those folders and what you need. So when you get ready to go, that paper's already waiting on you. Mm-hmm. And that's support.
And I would say that even here at MCC, I make sure that I know housekeeping, I know anybody in IT, I know, because these are the people who make me look good.
Right. Everybody has their part to play.
I mean, let's face it. And so you want to make sure because they are part of the team.
Exactly.
We couldn't do what we're doing without them. Now, you said something about the accounting part of it, and that's something that's new, isn't it?
It's new.
Now, why did y'all decide to include that? And I haven't forgot you, Tonya. I'm going to get you in a minute.
It's been talked about for a while, but Miss Ocampo was one who actually, she's the one who's always going to be looking and thinking, oh, there's not much difference in this and this. So she noticed that it was only a few classes, which were the difference between business office management and accounting. You add a few classes, someone else might come in, and we've had one graduate in the spring, but someone else comes in and say, I like the accounting part. Mm-hmm. And so you have 3 different directions to go in.
Okay. We had Missy already teaching our accounting courses.
Missy.
Melissa Roberts.
Right.
So we added the additional.
We just assume everybody knows who we're talking about.
So we just added the additional required courses, the income tax and payroll, and then they take the accounting 1 and 2 under her on the academic side.
Okay.
And then they'll take the payroll and the income tax.
Now, when they finish, they what now?
And QuickBooks.
And QuickBooks. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, so when they finish this program, it's a 2-year program.
Mm-hmm. They can do a 2-year, or they can get a certificate.
Okay. So, what would a certificate allow them to do? If you don't mind me asking. Because the
Missy, so
certificate
the-
is 1 year?
The certificate is, what is it, 30,
Yeah,
45?
there's either 1
Okay.
year or 1 year and 1 semester.
Okay,
So
okay.
there's 2 separate, a career certificate and then a technical certificate.
Okay, and then you can also get the is it AAS degree
Right.
or AA? Is it AAS degree?
AAS.
Okay,
Or
and
social
so
applied science.
this is it. So they go 2 years. Is it summers too, or just fall,
They can
spring?
take the summer if they choose to. You could take like academic courses during the summer.
Okay, and
but-
maybe finish a little earlier if you want to.
Or if
okay.
you come in and you've already had some academic courses.
Okay. Now, if someone finishes and says, "Well, hey, I've got this 2-year degree. I'd like to go further," can they do that?
They can.
Yes, you
Okay.
can go to MSU and do the Bachelor's of Applied Technology.
Okay, okay. Now, with this particular degree though, and when they finish, what kind of jobs are available to them?
They have the bookkeeper, payroll clerk, inventory clerk, accounts payable clerk, accounts receivable. There's they could be a tax return preparer. So those are just some of the things. There's so many others because you look at businesses that have accounting departments, there's so many roles to play there.
And they can take it anywhere in the country, anywhere that they need to. Okay,
Right.
it's not just limited here.
No, it's
Okay.
their knowledge, just take it with them.
I've always been a big proponent of, saying education is never going to hurt you.
Right.
You might not use something right at this moment, but trust me,
It shows up.
at some point it will come up. And I'm also, because I think you and I have discussed this before, how something that you did many years ago somehow opens a door for you
Right.
that you weren't even expecting
Right.
to be opened.
Yes.
Okay, so are there any changes that you see or that you'd like to see in the program coming up? Ms. Ocampo, since you're the one looking at everything and saying, okay, this is
Yeah,
similar
we're
to
thinking
this.
about adding another pathway
Okay.
of computer technology, which wouldn't be computer science like IT, but it would just be more of all the different computer applications, not building or not software design.
So you're basically, you're keeping your finger on the pulse to see what's going on and making changes as you see those changes. Yeah, okay, excellent. And I just to find, and you might not know this, and I'm just throwing it out there because I want you to just be dumbfounded. But what kind of money are we talking about once you finish this program? Do y'all have any idea?
We have ideas. I didn't bring those numbers
I'm just
because
curious.
numbers can throw
Because-
you off
Okay,
big time.
right,
Because it
right.
depends. I have students who've left, who graduated. I had one student who graduated and she left and she started making like $17 an hour.
Okay,
That doesn't apply to everyone. It depends
Right.
on where you're going,
Sure.
what you know, and what you can do when you get there. I've had students who start a job and call me back and say, oh, they gave me a raise already. So it
Excellent.
actually depends on what you do, how you
Sure.
do it, and where you go to work, how bad they need you.
sure.
Right,
sure.
and right now, they're paying more for certain positions. I have students who are coding, and there's a local company here in town was offering $20 an hour.
Is there a good job market for people who get out of your program?
Yes.
It is.
All right. Well, listen, they're telling me that we're finished. We've run out of time, but I thank y'all so much for
Thank
being
you.
here. And as
Thank
I
you
said,
for
I
having
keep
us.
saying we've got the best faculty, and y'all prove it. So thank y'all for
you.
being here.
You're welcome.
Cut us a check.
Right.
We'll be right back.
Meridian Community College. For more than 75 years, we've helped students soar. Establishing the first tuition guarantee program in Mississippi, we put our students first while creating pathways into the workforce and offering a seamless transition to a 4-year degree. Now is the time to find your purpose and register today, because those who move forward never get left behind. MCC, find your wings.
And we are back, and we have the wonderful Mr. Josh Taylor.
Hello.
How are you
It's good to
today?
see you, man.
It is so good to
How
see
are
you.
you?
Doing well. Now, you just got back from a little holiday.
Well, I was off contract for a few weeks, and I was going to be lazy at the house, and then of course 100 things come up to do. So I've
In
been
100-degree temperature.
I've been renovating a rental house in 100-degree temperature for 3 weeks.
Yay. Is it done? Is it completed?
No, not even close.
But you try to do as much yourself.
Yeah, I just do a lot of the work myself. Just
Okay.
I just happen to know how to do stuff, and it's cheaper than There's a few things I do not do.
Listen, contractors and they just laugh when
Yeah.
they see me coming because I know nothing.
Yeah.
I've never been good any kind of mechanic.
Well, you should just give it a try. So
No,
like next
no,
time something goes out in your house, just Google like how to fix
No.
refrigerator and just try it.
No, just not gonna.
It's good stuff.
Okay, let me just tell you how bad it is, and you cannot tell anybody about this.
Okay.
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 I bought a new stove because our stove stopped working.
Yeah.
Okay. So they came to deliver. They took the old stove and they came to deliver the new stove.
Yep.
And the guy was putting the electric cord on it, and he plugged it in, and it didn't work because the breaker had gone out,
Yep.
and it wasn't the stove.
Something else tripped it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we had that fixed, but
Okay.
still, I had purchased.
I was waiting for a punchline on that.
That was
Okay,
there was
okay.
no. It was just.
Well, it happened.
I'm deep in debt, and this is why, because I'm stupid.
But now you learn how to fix a breaker and a stove.
This is true.
That's right.
Now you are the division chair of the business division, which is
Yeah,
a
so
very
I
broad
actually,
umbrella,
It is. So I teach the media production technology program,
which is in charge of this. Of
which is the
doing
program
this
that
program.
actually helps produce this show. But I'm also the chairman for the business division. And I think we've talked about this before. We're an interesting division because you have medical and everything's medical in there, and then you have industrial and everything kind of makes sense that it's industrial. Business is funny because we kind of get a lot of programs that get thrown in with us, which I love. We have so much variety in our division. So as I said, like we have my program with media, we also have down the hall from me, we have the graphic design program.
Are you over that
which is-
program?
Yeah, that's
I
in
didn't
the
know that.
business
Okay.
division as well. And that one's interesting because people always assume you have to be an artist to be in
Right.
graphic design. You do not. It's great if you do have art skills, but the way that program is set up, you don't have to be like a fantastic hand-drawn artist to be a graphic designer. So that's a really fun program. But then we also have things like culinary arts, which is in our division, and which they've got a. Have you seen the new facility?
Yes,
it's amazing.
it is really good.
They have
oh my gosh.
a full-out, nice restaurant-style kitchen down there.
Yes.
To learn in, and then right across the street from them we have cosmetology,
Yes.
which is also in our division.
Yes. They come and use the Success Center a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So it's interesting, and I think on today's show we've also got the BOT and the MOT.
Yes.
Talking about that, we've also got marketing is in our division, child care is in our division. So it's really interesting the stuff that we get into, and a lot of some of these degrees are 2-year degrees. Like mine is a 2-year associate's degree that you can come in, and you're here for 2 years to graduate with an associate's. A lot of them will go to work. A lot of them will go on to a 4-year and continue with a BAS degree. Some of these are 1-year programs, 1-year certificate programs. The cosmetology, they're in and out in a year. I may be off on that, but I think that's right. So it's just an interesting division, all the stuff we have, and it's interesting we have meetings because we have a graphic designer and a cosmetologist and a chef and me, and it's interesting.
Well, okay, say you had a student coming in,
Yeah.
and they're like, okay, I want to go to college. I don't know exactly what I want to do. Maybe something business, because we have a lot of students come in. I want to do something business-wise. How do you help them navigate possibly where to go within your division? What would you look at to say, okay, hey, maybe you should try graphic design, or you should try culinary arts?
Well, and that's usually what I do is just talk to them.
Sure.
And say, okay, well, what are you interested in? What do you do in your free time that you enjoy doing? What do you think you might enjoy doing? And then secondarily, the big thing that works for us well is to actually show them the facilities. I get phone calls from students, and they'll say, hey, I have some questions about your program, which I'll answer whatever. But I always tell them, like, come to campus and let me show you our TV studio, or let me show you the chef kitchen, because a lot of times that kind of opens their eyes to, like, they think it's one thing, and then they come in and see, and they're like, oh, I didn't realize y'all do all this, So a lot of times it's just kind of walking them around and showing them the facilities, letting them talk to different program coordinators, and usually they'll find some spark, and a lot of it's about the program coordinator. A lot of times you make a connection and you say, that's my person, and it fits, it's a good fit.
Has someone, just out of curiosity, has someone ever surprised you? They go into a program and you're like, oh no, it's not going to work, but they end up
loving
doing
it?
and doing really well in it.
Well, it's not to answer that directly, but like it's funny to me as an instructor because I love all my students and they're all wonderful. But you do, you know, on the first day and you've got this new group of students and you kind of look at them and you're kind of maybe thinking in your head like, oh, this one's going to be awesome. Like I can already tell he's got some experience in high school with this, or his parents do it already or whatever. And then you may have some other ones that are like, you know, I think he can do it, but we're going to have to put some effort here. And then it's funny because they're with me for 2 years. And so you really do see that evolution. And so it's really funny the ones when they get to graduation that you look back and say, I never would have thought that that was going to be the all-star, you know?
Yeah.
I had one come by the other day and he graduated, I believe 2 years ago. And he's doing a lot of freelance work now and is making a living doing freelance work. And so the whole time he was in the program, we used to talk regularly about, I would give him advice. You know, here's how you can market yourself. Here's how you do pricing for this kind of thing. And we would talk about it a lot, and he was kind of dipping his toes in it. And he comes back, and he's like, yeah, I've got this job and this job and this job. And I was like, that's awesome. You know, it's fun when they surprise you, when they really do kind of, they go beyond what you've actually told them, what you kind of laid out for them, and then they go 10 steps past that. And you're like, that's nice. You know, that's a fun part of teaching, I guess.
It really is.
Yeah.
I'm to the point now where I've done this so long that students will come in and I'll meet them, because with study skills, you know, I get to really know my students, and I'll meet them and I'm like, I know exactly where this is going. I know exactly where this is going. And I'm surprised.
Yeah.
And I love being surprised.
Yeah.
Now, when will our broadcast students come back and do the show?
So, and this is what the audience doesn't see at home. They see Lowell's, y'all see Lowell's pretty face sitting here. What you don't see is the 10 or 12 or 15 students that are behind the cameras and in the control room that are actually producing this show. So I think we start back classes when on the 16th?
Yes, 16th.
I believe it's August 16th. So that first week, we'll have the new ones down so they can kind of start figuring out the positions and what they're supposed to be doing and all that. And like I said, it's interesting for my students because through the week, my sophomore students are actually out on campus with cameras. They shoot stuff, they interview people, they edit together the packages that are on the show. So most of the beginning part of the week, the sophomores are doing all that. And it's almost like we have a production meeting once a week and we go through, you're working on this and you're shooting this. And then on Thursday mornings, it's mainly the freshmen that come down and are manning the cameras and the control, the switcher and the audio and everything. But yeah, they'll be back soon. I know you and Matt have been struggling without us.
Hey, I look forward to them coming back. Well, we are out of time.
Okay.
I want to thank you for pinch hitting for us and
Yeah,
coming in.
anytime.
I appreciate it greatly. And so anyone who possibly is interested, can you give some information on how to get in touch with you?
Yeah, so our counselor is Deborah Nettles. She's probably the best starting point because she can get you registered through the whole process. She's in the Ivy building. You can literally walk in the front door and ask for Deborah Nettles, and they will point you in the right direction. Also, I'm on campus most days. So again, I'm Josh Taylor. You can swing my campus. I can give, what's better, my phone number or email?
Yes, give your phone number.
My office number is 601-934, no, I'm sorry, give my cell number, 601-484-8741. Call me anytime. You can check out our page on MCC's website as well.
Really good page.
And, yeah, we've got about 3 weeks, and we do have limited space in these programs. We do cap out at a certain point where we can only take so many students. So some fill up faster than others, obviously, but about 3 weeks left. So if this is something you might be interested in, come on when you get you signed up.
Thank you, Josh. I appreciate it. We'll be right back.
With so much uncertainty in our world, we are thankful for the heart and determination of those who have followed their calling in healthcare. They work tirelessly on the front lines every day to make a true difference in our community. At Meridian Community College, we take pride in training these heroes and are grateful for their service in this time of great need. These Eagles found their wings at Meridian Community College.
On behalf of Matt Milner, our executive producer, Josh Taylor, our media consultant, and me, thank you for watching. Hope you learned a little bit, and please help me get out of here.